I'm sorry I'm not at my table today. Instead, I'm in my little corner. And it's because I want to do this as fast as possible so I can go back at working on This Week in Stupid. Because I got a lot of material last week and there's a lot of selection to be made. But regardless, it's going to be a very interesting show. So I do hope that all of you are going to tune in tomorrow to have a good laugh. Now, in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about this particular news. You see, I'm what people would consider an old person, at least on the internet. I was born in the year when Chernobyl exploded. They called me the atomic child. And a lot of things have changed, including the mindset of people. For you see, if you were to tell people back then that the government is going to have access to their list of friends, their photo album, their likes and dislikes, everything they do, their hobbies, and it's going to be made public for everyone to see. These people would freak out. They would think it's some authoritarian nightmare. They would consider that to be Orwellian. Today, not so much. I mean, today, people give their information willingly, but I guess it's not to the government. That's the only thing that is true. They're giving it to a private corporation willingly. Now, what's also interesting and fascinating, you see, when I was born, there was this thing called the Great Book of Doxing. Like, if you can imagine, it was a very thick book, and it was called the phone book or the Yellow Pages. And in that book, you had information of everyone's phone number and address. Like, you would look at the name of a person, like John Smith, and you'd go down and it would give you their phone number and their address. And for some reason, no one freaked out about that. Like, that was considered to be normal. People who didn't want their phone number to be public or their address to be public could opt out voluntarily. But you were opted in by default the moment you bought a phone, and you had to go there and say, no, I want my phone number to be kept quote unquote secret. In my country, you even had a lady that would dox for you. Like, there was a special phone number that you could ring. I think it was like 012 or something like that, and then there was a lady on the other side, and you would tell her the name of the person you want to know, their address and their phone number, and she would give it to you. Like the great doxing lady existed, and again, like, it was considered normal. Now, normal is considered to give your information willingly to private companies. Again, your photo album, sharing your location online, making sure that they have access to your likes, dislike, your hobbies. Like, that's normal. But the moment they have access to your phone number, people freak the fuck out. Like, no, seriously, like, can anyone explain to me, like, is there a logic to this? I would rather have people access to my phone number, which I can close, than for an employer to have access to my likes and dislikes and all the dumb things that I said when I was a teenager. Like, all the trash talking that I do. Like, why would I want people to have access to that? It makes absolutely no sense. Now, the act of giving your information willingly to a private company, which, by the way, literally makes you the product. Like, you're not the user, you are the you understand this. Like, information is valuable. Obviously, if you have John Smith's information, you can't monetize that. But if you have the information of a million people and you compile that into data, then you can sell it to other marketing companies. You can sell it to various social studies scientists. I mean, you can make money off of data, which is what Facebook is. It mines people for data in order to make money off of it. It's probably even in the terms of service. Like, it's not illegal or anything like that. And people give it willingly. Now, the reason I find it funny is because there were a couple of logs that got leaked back in 2010, which I don't know how many people remember them, but there was a conversation from 2003 which leaked on the internet between Zuckerberg and a friend. And Zuck asks, so if you need info about anyone at Harvard, I have over 4,000 emails, pictures, addresses, and social security numbers. You know, I get like having access to emails and pictures, but like social security. So the friend asks, like, how did you manage to get that one? People just submitted it to me. I don't know why. They trust me, dumb fucks. Alright, so this is the mentality of the person behind Facebook. Like, this is how he thinks about the information of people. And you know what? I think he's absolutely right. I can't fault him for that. Like, I can't say, hey, you know what, man? Like, you're in the wrong. No, he's absolutely in the right. Like, people willingly give him the information, so there's no crime committed. Like, you can't fault someone if you're willingly handing him the information. Oh, this one is cool. Why do I keep getting, like, furniture commercials? Like, how does the computer know that I'm looking for furniture? Jesus. I'm gonna have to save this for later. This looks cool. But anyway, people are now freaking out that their phone numbers have been hacked. Okay, like, hackers have access to people's phone numbers. And I'm like, dude, like, so what? You give more information to a private company and you think it's okay, but heaven forbid if a third source, I guess, gets access to your phone number. Like, why do you trust Facebook more than you trust the hacker? That's my question. I don't trust them both. Like, that's the standard that I have. Neither of them do I trust. The same level of trust that I have on the hacker is the same level of trust that I have on Facebook. Like, all the information I share with Facebook is information I want to share with them. Do you understand this? And by the way, like, I need to have a conversation about why it's important to share some information with Facebook and social media. Because I speak with a lot of people. I have a YouTube channel of over 100,000 subscribers. And when you get that, like, people contact you on DM. Now, I am the type of person that actually does try to respond to the most DMs as possible. Like, there's even people contacting me and going like, oh my God, you actually do respond. Like, yeah, I'm doing my best. You know, I get a lot of messages, but I do my best to keep up. And I do speak with people that are in HR or that employ others. And I do have even friends in real life that do the same, right? So every single time I speak with a person that's in charge of employing others, they tell me the same story. They look at the social media account. The resume that you give to a company is not as important anymore. Like, that is just the thing which gets the person a little bit intrigued, a little bit interested. That's the foreplay for the HR woman, your resume. The meat of it, the actual stimulation, is when they go on social media. And the reasoning behind it is that you can fake a resume. And there's a lot of ways that people fake their resume. I mean, they can put in that they worked at a company that's now no longer functioning. They could give the phone number of the company they worked at, the phone number of a friend, so that when the HR lady calls, like, your friend answers. Like, there's a lot of ways that people try to bypass HR. And HR knows about those ways, and it's like pretty much like espionage and counter-espionage. You know, like, they try to outdo one another. But what they can't really do, I mean, they can, but it's very difficult. What is very difficult to do is to fake your social media activity. Because that one is time logged. So everything you did, right? Like, if you have a Facebook account, they're going to look at your preferences to see what hobbies you have. They want to see the type of person you are, like what type of posts are you making. And they're going to judge if you're a good fit for their company or not. So my advice to you is to have, like, a Facebook account, like, especially if you're a teenager now. Like, have a Facebook account for professional purposes, where you add your friends, your family, you know, you take pictures when you're at the party, but it needs to look very sanitized, very squeaky clean. You like a lot of things from the type of business you want to do. So, for example, if you want to be a coder, like, you need to share a lot of coding conventions, a lot of news from coding. If you're a doctor, you need to share, you know, you doing some voluntary work or something like that, because it matters. All right, like, it matters. The employees are going to look at it. Now, the question is, like, what happens to someone who doesn't have a social media account? They throw your resume into the garbage because they can't know, right? So if, like, 5 people apply for a job, 3 of them don't have social media, but 2 of them do, and one of them has a really good and clean social media presence, as they call it, they're probably going to hire the person with the really good and clean social media. Like, it's another advantage. Doesn't mean that it's always the case. Like, sometimes if you have, like, a really, really great resume, they might hire you. But overall, they do look for social media. And it can also work against you. Like, there has been news where a couple of years ago, a lady got accepted at the university. And she was, like, a straight A student. But they found that she was following Alex Jones on Twitter. Like, that was before he got banned. And they canceled her approval to the university. So she had to sue. Now, I have no idea how the lawsuit went. They're probably in trial even now because I haven't heard anything about it. But yeah, that's what happens. And Facebook is also used for businesses. For example, in Australia, Facebook banned, I guess, like people sharing articles online and stuff like that. And the government cracked. Like the government kneeled in front of Facebook. Why? Because if I have a small business, let's say I have a coffee shop, a cat cafe like I wanted to do. Luckily, I didn't do it because I would have been bankrupt now because of COVID. But yeah, if you have a cat cafe, where is the best place to advertise? The best place to advertise is on Facebook. Why? Because you have like Facebook groups for your town, you have Facebook groups for your neighborhood, you have Facebook groups for the universities in your town. So if you target those areas specifically, you're going to have the bigger audience. Plus, it gives you access to a forum. It gives you access for people to rate your business. So yeah, I mean, like it's so interconnected now in society that it's pretty difficult to get rid of. Which my opinion isn't that you should like make sure you don't share any information with Facebook. My opinion is that you share only the information you want other people to see. All right, and make sure that the information you share is very sanitized. You're not very politically opinionated. And if you like a political opinion, just like whatever is trendy that day, you know, you're fighting global warming, you're championing the rights of homosexuals. If a company puts on a statement about whatever flavor of the minority is on that month, maybe you put it up out there, but don't overdo it. You know, like one political opinion a year, basically, maybe two at most. Like something that's there to see that you care. You know, like you're a very compassionate person. That's what the employer wants to see. Depends where exactly you want to work as well. Like if you want to work at a major corporation, you have to do that. If you want to work at a small company, then it's ill-advised. But like the advantage is that when you send a resume, you can just delete things from your timeline. That's my advice. So it doesn't surprise me all in all when Zuckerberg blames the users for the hacked information, because again, like the user is the product. Like you are not the user, all right? Like that's how the corporation uses corpo speak. No, you're the product. You're the people that they farm for information. That's who you are. So yeah, of course they're going to blame you because products don't have rights. So apparently, like the way the hackers managed to get the info isn't like you would think. In a movie you get like a hacker man like clickety clacking on the keyboard and writing the algorithm to hack into the system. No, apparently like Facebook had the system where you would put in your friends list or something. Like you would upload your friends list, and Facebook would try to connect you with your friends, and they would give you all the information from that friends in the list. So what the hacker did is that he created a list with all the people, like millions of people, and when he put it into the Facebook, the algorithm gave him back all that information. So that's how it happened. And millions of people had their numbers taken, and a lot of blue check marks are salty about it. I find it funny how the check marks are only salty when it's something that affects them. Like they wouldn't or when Donald Trump wins. Okay, that's when they're salty. But when Obama did the same thing, no salt was spilled. I guess it's because they didn't expect that maybe they didn't know the technology back then. They didn't understand it, right? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to tune in to This Week in Stupid. It's going to be grand.